Hey, Big V, it's Verl Workman here. Today we're talking teams, and today we're going to answer the biggest question so many of you have. How hard is it in real estate to earn $1 million? Now, a lot of people think that the concept of earning $1 million is something they could never do. I know I used to feel that way as well. But what I've learned is that the experiences that we had in our life form the beliefs we have on what's possible and what's not possible. And by changing your experience, we change your beliefs. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. It all starts by understanding exactly what you need to do and how you need to do it. One of the things I learned a long time ago is to find someone who's doing it better than you and then, don't tell anybody, copy them. That's right. You find someone doing it better than you and you copy them. Greatness is predictable and it also leaves clues. Now, as you pay attention to this video today, I'm going to share with you some very specific numbers. I'm going to give you a very specific download called the Daily Success Habits Tracker, which shows you what to track, how to track, exactly what to do every single day so that your outcome is predictable. And if your predictable outcome goal is to earn $1 million in real estate, I'm going to give you the roadmap to be able to do that. So stay tuned till the very end when I share with you exactly how to get the downloads for today's video. Let's talk about what greatness is and how and why it's predictable. You see, with coaching hundreds and hundreds of teams and thousands of team members and having everybody put their data into our system called Workbench, we've learned that certain activities done consistently over time will give us a predictable result. Let me give you an example. In this Daily Success Habits Tracker, let me show you what it looks like. I'm going to give something like this to all of you. I'll put it up on the screen. This is the Daily Success Habits Tracker. At the very top of the Daily Success Habits Tracker, you're going to see that there's a number from 1 to 50. Those are designed for you to track what we call your prospecting calls. Your prospecting calls are done 1 through 50. Every time you make a dial, you put a hash mark in it. When you have a conversation, you make an X. Now, if you did nothing else on the form, but you started to track how many prospecting calls you make today, how many calls it takes to have a conversation, and how many conversations it takes to get an appointment, what you would discover is that every 60 calls or 40 calls, you have 4 conversations, and every 4 conversations, you set an appointment. So if you need 2 appointments a week, you need to have 8 conversations. It's as simple as that. Now, let me give you some 7-figure math. Let's throw out how much money we make in real estate. Now, everybody knows that commission is negotiable, but let's just say for you, your average commission is somewhere around $10,000. In order to make $1 million, the number's simple. You have to sell 100 houses. That might be mind-blowing to a lot of you thinking about, I can never sell 100 houses, knowing that the average realtor sells about 7 houses a year. It's interesting that right now there's this mass exodus of real estate agents leaving the business. In the last 30 days, an NAR published a report saying that over 6,000 realtors have left the business. It's harder to sell 7 houses this year than it was a year ago, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. When we start to see change or we see economic turmoil, what happens is it becomes a cleansing of agents who don't know how to sell their value or have been through hard times and don't want to do it again. They decide to go get a job, and that creates opportunity for those of us who want to dominate or take market share. And so when I see people leaving the business, I'm grateful that they're leaving and I wish them the best. And I hope that they do great wherever they choose to go, and then we go get their market. There's nothing but opportunities in a threat-based market. Okay, so 100 homes a year. Now, I want to talk about the ratio of buyers versus sellers when you set a goal to do 100 homes a year. For every listing you get, you should close 1.5 buy-side transactions. That means if you want to sell 100 houses, you would do 40 listings and 60 buyers. Now, I'm going to give you permission right now to not work with a single buyer. That's right. I'm going to let you outsource or let a buyer's agents work with all the buyers, and all you have to focus on is working with the listings. And so let's do the math on that. In order to get 40 listings, how many listing appointments are you going to have to go on? That's where the Daily Success Habit Tracker comes in. So we start tracking the dials, we start tracking the conversations, we start tracking the appointments set, and here's what we've learned. In most cases, when you set a lot of appointments, you don't close 80 or 90%. If you're closing 80 or 90% of the listing appointments you go on, you got to stop going out with just friends and family. It's time for you to find some strangers to go on listing appointments with. Your goal is to prospect, and prospect is defined as looking for new business. In order to be able to get 40 listings, we have to be able to go on 80 listing appointments. Now, 80 listing appointments divided by 52 weeks is almost 1.6 listing appointments a week. That's only 1.5. If all you did is get up every day and you were intensely obsessed with the activity these that generate 1.6 listing appointments this week, you would hit your $1 million. But what happens is we get distracted by the fake work, and you don't even know you're doing it until you get home and you haven't done anything that moves you closer to your goals. So now think about the math on this. We need 1.6. Can I just round that up to 2? Can we just say we're going to go ahead and get 2 listing appointments? If we just say we're going to get 2 listing appointments a week and we do it 52 weeks, that's going to be 104. That's going to give you 104 appointments and give you over 50 listings. So now we just increase your goal from 40 to 50. We just bumped it up 10 grand, but that just puts an extra 100,000 in your pocket. So I hope you don't mind me doing that. Okay, so now we've got 40 listing appointments or 50 listing appointments if you just set 2 appointments a week. Think about it, 2 appointments a week. Is that like, ooh, I could never do that? Is that like, out of control? I could never, ever generate 2 listing appointments a week? The reality is you absolutely can if you focus on it. And so what are you doing instead? If you focus, now I want you to think about the math on this. How many hours a day would you have to spend to prospecting in order to get 2 listing appointments a week? What if the answer was 2 hours? If you spent 2 hours prospecting every day this week, is it totally possible that you would generate your 2 listing appointments? I mean, maybe by Monday or Tuesday you could be done, and then you could do the rest of the week doing the fake work or the other things that occupy all your time that's not giving you the highest return on your time. Just those 2 listing appointments per week. So how do we know what we're doing and whether or not it's working? We use the daily success habits tracker. Now, on the left-hand side of the column, you're going to see what's called the activity tracker. And the activity tracker allows you to create or track in 30-minute increments everything you do today. I've learned that accountability is awareness. It's not something that I do to you, but when you start tracking what you do every day in 30-minute increments, you start to realize, oh my gosh, there's an hour, there's another hour, there's another hour that I spent doing things that didn't actually move me closer to that goal of 2 listing appointments a week. But if you really write it down and you really use it, you become aware, and then allows you to make course corrections or change your behavior so that you get the predictable result that you're looking for. So it's important that you track all the activities in 30-minute increments. The next thing on the daily success habits tracker is we call it the 61 points of rhythm, like a heartbeat. It's something that keeps you going. And if every day you get 61 points doing dollar productive activities, you're going to find you set your 2 appointments. You give yourself points for prospecting activities, for showing homes, for going on a listing appointment, for getting a listing agreement signed, and for getting deals closed. You also get points for doing what we call a role play, where you practice your scripts and dialogues, where you get better at your presentation skills. And then you get points for doing open houses and the things that create new opportunities or bring new people in the pipeline. The whole concept of earning $1 million is designed around the activities you focus on. The difference between average and exceptional is not the quality of the person as much as it is the things that they focus on. So let me ask you this. Are you willing to change your behavior and focus on the activities of the superstars? Are you willing to track every day what you do in 30-minute increments and become aware of whether your activities are consistent with your goals? Are you willing to set and make the commitment to do 61 points a day? If the answer is yes, then you're well on your way to $1 million. But let's now figure out, how do we deal with all those buyers we generated? So we created this whole program where we now have 60 buyers coming in as a result of our 40 listings. So let's talk about that. When you hire a buyer's agent, and there's other videos in this whole series where we talk about hiring buyer's agents and how to create leverage. When you hire a buyer's agent, you bring them onto your team. You bring them on a 40% split for the first 2 deals they do in a month, 45-55 for deals 3 and 4, 50-50 for 5+. Now, that split is very specific because we need you to be incentivized to do the right thing for your buyer's agents. If you overpay your buyer's agents, you won't be able to afford to give them your A leads. And so you'll hang on to buyers that you think really need you when the reality is you just need the money. And so we want you to pay buyer's agents so you're incentivized to give them all the deals. I don't want you to ever put a buyer in your car ever again. Now, it's not because I don't love buyers. It's just because there's things I love more in life, like family, faith, friends, fun, fitness, food, all kinds of things, boating. Like there's all these things that we love more than working with buyers. And I'm going to give you the ability to choose to do the things you love more. Not that you don't love buyers. Train your buyer's agents well. Make sure they can do the right things. So in order to generate 60 closed transactions with your buyer's agents, we set a minimum level of production for each buyer agent of 24 deals a year. If you have 3 buyer's agents and they all do between 20 and 24 deals, you'll generate your 60 closings. Now, it doesn't happen just because you hire the buyer's agents. You have to be intentional. You have to be absolutely training them. You have to set a culture of productivity. You have to have them sign the 10 things to be on my team, which is very specific to the 10 things they need to be part of your team, and then create that winning environment where you can generate $1 million. 40 listings is 2 appointments a week, and then 60 buy-side transactions with 3 buyer's agents. What if I told you that if you follow the program, you use the daily success habits tracker, just like I'm giving you in this free download, it's right here, right at the bottom of this video. I just want you to go and click on it right now. You can download it. I'm going to give it to you free. I want you to just make a commitment to use it for the next 60 days and just get the 61 points every day for the next 60 days. If you'll do that, not only will you be on your way to $1 million, you're going to find you're working less at $1 million at gross close commission than you were at making 100,000 or 250. You'll work less, earn more, and you're going to help other people create great lives and earn money that they'd never thought was possible. What a great place it is to be in real estate right now. It's a great time. There's massive opportunities. Use your daily success habits, and I'll see you on the next Talking Teams.